looks like the microphone. Okay, the microphone's working. This is Dan, and hope you guys are doing well. We're up for the Business Pros webinar for this week. We're going to be talking about 5 creative ways to grow your email list. Now, these are 5 strategies that you can basically implement with any campaign that you guys are running, and they're just creative ways that'll replace the typical, sign-up sheet at the front desk, because people sometimes overlook that. It doesn't catch their attention, and it doesn't really, get them excited about becoming part of your email list. So what I'm going to be doing is walking you guys through these 5 ways and a couple of ideas around them, how you can implement them, what kind of campaigns they go well with. So why don't we jump right in? And if you guys have any questions along the way, just put them into the chat pane on the side. You should be able to just send those chats in, and I'll be able to respond to them in real time. So why don't we dive into this creative tip number 1. And this one is called the bribe. And the reason it's called the bribe is because you're offering something in return for their email address. So this could be a discount, free giveaway. You could put them into a raffle or sweepstakes. You could do something crazy, a song and dance medley by the staff in the office. You could really make things interesting and creative by just, saying, if you give us your email address, we'll do something in return. Now, this is probably the one step beyond the, sign up form in the office. It's pretty simple to do. If you've ever seen, online, they'll say, give us your email for this free white paper. This is the same thing, and you can do this in your office even. You can say, okay, we've got this amazing special report that we're giving to everybody who signs up for our email list. And if you have one of the special reports that came with one of your past campaigns or the one that you're running right now, tell them that you would love to give them a special report, and you're collecting emails, and that you can send them updates on the campaign and all that kind of good stuff by email. So that's the first creative way, and you can use this concept of the bribe in many different ways. Like I said, there are these 4 examples. There are many more that exist, but think about what you could provide in exchange for their writing down their email for you or putting their email into the computer for you. You want to provide value up front. You want to establish some goodwill right out of the gate, so that when you follow up with them, and when you send your first newsletter, when they get that first email, they've already committed, and they have already gotten value from you, so they're not looking for you to prove yourself as much as they would be if you didn't deliver value up front. So that's the first creative way to grow your email list. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but it's worth mentioning because a lot of people start overlooking that exchange, and they simply just expect people to give them their email addresses. But in reality, if you think about in an online sphere, there's always something in return. There's always something that somebody wants to get out of providing their email address for you. So if they're signing up for an event, they want to secure a spot and they want to receive reminders. If they are downloading a special report, then they want to get that download immediately. They want it emailed to them in their inbox. The same thing goes. If you've got a sign-up form in your front office and it just says sign up to receive our updates, that's not as strong of a call to action to say sign up and get entered into this month's sweepstakes for a GoPro camera. That's something it's much stronger, and it creates an image in their mind that is a much stronger call to action. It has more impact. So that is the bribe. Next up, creative tip number 2, the partner. And this creative tip is one that requires you to speak with a local business contact. So if you have an existing one, then use one of those. Or if you need to establish one, then by all means reach out and start speaking with one of the local business owners in your community. Have them promote your email address while you promote theirs. So it's a fair exchange agreement, and you basically promote their business and share what they do with your audience when people walk into your office. And you can use the bribe, you can use some of the other strategies that we mentioned here to get those emails. And then on the other side, they're promoting your email address. And when you do that, number one, it's a bit tougher to deliver something upfront and of value, since they are not in front of you in person. So what you need to do is establish with this business partner that at the end of every day or week, they send you the updated list so you can follow up with people who signed up. But the same thing goes here in terms of those deliverables. So it could be a discount, it could be a tour of the office, you could call them if you're collecting their phone number too, you could have some kind of members-only experience that you're promoting, anything that would deliver value for those people who have signed up, because they were in that other business. Say that it was a gym, and the gym was promoting your services. They had a poster up, they were collecting emails, and that poster said, okay, well, if you provide your email now, you can get a 25% discount on your first adjustment at XYZ Chiropractic. Now, once they provide that email address, that business owner will send you the list of emails at the end of the day or at the end of the week, and then you should follow up with those people who have signed up and say, hey, I'm so glad that you decided to try out our office. Here's some more details on what we do. Here's our website, and here's the coupon that you signed up for. Just bring it in and show us this email when you visit the office, and we'll be happy to set you up, or call ahead and set up an appointment. That's how that would work, and it's so simple, but a lot of people are used to seeing, when they walk into any business, they're used to seeing sign-up forms and email collections for that business. But if it's for a different business, it catches them off guard. It's a bit of a pattern interrupt, and it allows them to engage with your business on a different level, because it's a different audience, separate group of people that are still in your realm of influence. So if it's at a gym, if it's a yoga studio, nutritionist office, those are the kinds of business partners that you should be looking at in terms of reaching out. So that's how this basically works. You want to, number one, reach out to that contact, establish that relationship, and start talking about what that setup is going to be like. But what I explained a minute ago in terms of how the deliverables work and how people give their email and what process it goes through to you actually following up with them, is pretty much the same across the board. Okay, cool. So we're going to move on to creative tip number 3. This one is called the business card jar. Some of you have seen this. You may have seen this in the past, and it is an incredibly successful way to collect email addresses. And it actually eliminates the nuisance of having to read people's handwriting, which is a nice bonus. So basically how it's set up is you basically have a fishbowl or a large jar available in your office or in a local business office for people to put their business cards into. And if they don't have a business card, they can if they want to, write their name and email address, phone number on a piece of paper and drop it in the jar. But the idea is that you take everybody in that jar and you enter them into a raffle for a cool prize. And this is that call to action. This is the delivery of that value up front. You're establishing that goodwill. So, as electronics have been incredibly popular. All the raffles that we have run that have been really successful have been for electronics. They've been for GoPro. We've actually, one of our referral campaigns for Synduit has been for a GoPro camera, and that was an incredibly successful one. So electronics are popular. TVs, Blu-ray players, stereos, all that kind of stuff people really like. It could also be a free package of services. So if you're offering free first 2 or 3 adjustments, that would be a package of services that you could offer for people who win the raffle for entering their business card into that jar. Now the jar could be placed in your office, or it could be placed in a local office, and you could have a jar, same kind of deal as the last creative tip, where you have a jar for the other business and the other business has a jar for you. You want to get that cross exposure, and it's incredibly valuable for the people coming into your office because they're gaining exposure to another valuable business in the area. And same thing with the audience for the business that you're partnering with. So this is a really, really cool strategy. It's really simple to set up, so I highly recommend that you guys use it if you haven't done anything like this in the past. So we're going to move on to creative tip number 4, and this one's called the upsell. Now this is a cool one because it's immediate and it kind of catches people off guard. Now at the end of a visit, when people are leaving your office, when they've been speaking with you, you can offer them an on-the-spot discount if they give you their email address. Now this is better for people who haven't really built up their in-office email list. So if right now you only have a couple dozen people or a couple hundred people on your list and you're trying to get that up to 1,000 or more, this is a great way to do that. So what you can do is you offer them an incentive on the spot that they can only claim by the time that they walk out the door. So if they give you their email address, then they can get an on-the-spot discount, and it can be any kind of incentive. That you could enter them into a raffle once again. You could give them VIP treatment at the next event. You could do whatever. You could be really, really creative with this. But the idea is that they give you their email address on the spot, and then you could basically email them afterwards, follow up and say, hey, thanks for providing your email address. Here are some goodies, some cool articles that I found, and then you can basically deliver that incentive that you promised. So if that was a discount coupon, then the discount coupon. If that was VIP treatment at the next event, it could be details on the next event, maybe if you need to get there earlier or whatever. So that's the upsell. And the benefit of this, once again, is that if you don't have a list that is large or you're really trying to grow it, this focuses internally. So people who have just joined your clinic or have been around for a while, if you don't have any of their email addresses, this is a really good way to collect them and deliver value at the same time. Now, once again, you have to keep in mind, and as with all of these creative tips, that you want to deliver value up front. You want to create some goodwill so that they're seeing that there's fair exchange, and you're always creating value and delivering value for them on the spot whenever they provide something for you. So when they're providing their email address, you give them a discount, or you give them an article, or you give them a VIP treatment at the next event, or you give them XYZ. So always think about what kinds of things that you can provide for them up front so that you can establish that goodwill. Okay, so we're up to number 5. Creative tip number 5 is called the teleseminar. Very original title, I know, I'm proud. But it's pretty aptly named because this applies to teleseminar campaigns. Now, at the end of a teleseminar, the way that this one works is that you give live listeners a call to action, and this is only for live listeners. And the reason that this is only for live listeners is because it's basically the strongest call to action that you can have when you say, if you're listening in live, this is only for you, and in the next 30 minutes, if you email our front desk to request XYZ, you get a discounted teleseminar rate. You'll be invited to our upcoming event that's only exclusive for these people, and we will do a song and dance medley for you when you come in the office. And that's one way to have a really compelling call to action at the end of a teleseminar. Now you could say a multitude of things at the end of one of these teleseminars. This is the strongest call to action you can have if you're trying to grow your email list. Now it could be, come in for your initial consultation, and you could pair them together. So if at the same time you're trying to grow your email list, you also want to actually have people come in for a consultation or whatever that is, then you pair them together and say, email our front desk, and we'll give you the discounted rate or whatever, and we'll add you to our mailing list so that you can receive updates on your appointment and all that kind of stuff. So once your front office receives that email address, you just send it over to us, compile a list, and then we'll send those people an email confirmation. They'll receive future updates. So that's a really easy way to build your email list and give people a compelling call to action at the end of a teleseminar that also incorporates the main call to action, which is sign up for your initial consultation. We'll give you XYZ that it pertains to our services. And that will grow your email list very, very quickly once you have people calling in live. And once again, the idea that you want to give live listeners a call to action is not only because it'll encourage live participation in the future, but it's because the people who are calling in live are the most committed. They're the people who are the most likely to actually come in for that consultation. They're the most likely to follow through with whatever call to action that you provide. So you want to give them the best value in terms of that incentive. People who listen to the replay, if they hear that, for those of you who are listening in live, email our office in the next 30 minutes to request our consultation at discounted teleseminar. We'll follow up with you via email, and you'll be listed in our, we'll send up follow-ups and updates and all that kind of stuff. If they listen to that, if they hear that when they're listening to the replay, they're going to think to themselves, if they're really interested in what you were talking about, wow, I should listen to the next teleseminar live. So this is a great way to build your following, in terms of the live participants during those calls. So That's the teleseminar, and that's the last creative tip that we've got for you. And each of these can be applied in very, very different ways. A couple of them included partnerships with local businesses. A couple of them you can do by yourself, very, very simply. So for example, the upsell is great if you're just starting out for your business, whereas the jar, the business card jar, is great if you're looking to reach out to local businesses and have that cross exposure. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Those are just the 5 creative ways to grow your email list, and I had fun putting this together. The team had fun putting this together. If you've got any questions, just send them over to bizpros@synduit.com. That's BIZPROS at synduit.com. We'll be happy to answer your questions, and I will see you guys next week. Have a good one.